welcome to the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Tonight, we wrap up Gridiron Rivals for 2021. That's right, the last game for Gridiron for the year, where our esports teams battle out against the same school the Boise State University football team plays against. Boise State and Central Michigan were set to square off in the Arizona Bowl, and with that game not happening, these two teams will now face off on the virtual field for bragging rights. Of course, I am your host, Jared Baratucasulioni, joined by Cosmic and Vagar. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
You guys got the comfy seats. I got the one that's all trepidatious and I can fall and hurt myself. Y'all ready for some R6 action?
I'm excited to see what happens for sure.
Cool.
Oh, yeah,
before we jump into the action, of course, let's go ahead and throw it over to Jay Tust of KTVB to explain why Boise State football had to withdraw from the Arizona Bowl. Let's start through it real quick.
Perfect, but you...
Boise State Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey summed it up best today, saying it's devastating. For the second year in a row, Boise State will not play in a bowl game. The Broncos forced to withdraw from Friday's Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl due to positive COVID-19 cases within the program. Broncos have shut down all team activities as a result of COVID-19 protocols. Boise State will now end Andy Avalos' first season as head coach with a record of 77-5. Boise State players had 3 days off to go home and spend time with family during Christmas before getting back to Boise yesterday. But due to snow and flight cancellations, some players weren't able to get back into town until today, which caused a delay in testing and results. Broncos were scheduled to fly to Tucson tomorrow. Meanwhile, Central Michigan, the Broncos' opponent for the game, arrived in Tucson last night. Boise State Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey releasing a statement today saying, quote, "We feel for the young men in our program who are very much looking forward to closing out their season and for some, their football careers. I would personally like to thank Kim Adair and her team at the Arizona Bowl for putting together a first-class student-athlete and fan experience that we are extremely disappointed to miss," end quote. Now, Dickey told us this afternoon that the Broncos followed their testing protocols they have used all season long. Upon returning to Boise, unvaccinated and symptomatic personnel were tested. They then reached a threshold that required the testing of the entire team, or more positives showed up. It has been a rough go in terms of Boise State bowl games for the Broncos the last 4 years. This year, the team forced to withdraw due to COVID-19. Last year, the team opting out of playing in one. The year before that, a lot.
And it is kind of a sad thing, but again, gives an opportunity for both these two teams to really get the big W for their school representatively. So, quick question to you, gentlemen. I have a set aside here, my personal favorite and my sleeper operator that we may see. Let's go with Vagar. What do you think is the best operator we may see tonight?
Well, on offense, I think we're going to definitely see a bit of Ella. She's just, or on Zophia's, my bad.
Right.
Her sister. She's just so versatile and so useful in every situation. So you can pick her anytime, and she's always going to be of some use.
Right. And Cosmic, do you have any sleeper operators that may see some play tonight?
You know, I always think that recruit is a little underrated. Nah, I'm totally kidding. That's a great question. I think we might see a bit of a maverick pick. Sometimes it's good to get those to get through those hard breach surfaces. You know, pick those things off. Hopefully, we see some cool maverick plays tonight for sure.
You guys have great information, but you're both wrong. Just kidding. It's Sledge and Dokkaby. Sledge being the best operator, and Dokkaby the sleeper agent of the night. We'll see if either of those two will rear their interesting heads. Seen some Sledge in competitive play for the Boise State roster before, so it's not too far-fetched of an idea, but I don't know. I maybe just because of the fact that they swing a giant hammer around, I'm more akin to them. I feel like that's my personal play style. Who needs guns when you have big hammer, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong with the hammer. You can't EMP it. It doesn't really care about any of that stuff. You just swing it and go in.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just a reminder for the event rules. This is that Gridiron League. Boise State football players would have been playing against CMish for tonight, but due to, of course, precautions and safety reasons, we were not able to do so. But we're moving into our 6. And the way the R6 works, it's a best of 3. It's a first to 7. It's the 3 maps pick. Some more banned. We'll get to the ones that remained to be played tonight. And the first to 7 within the confines of those maps win. You got to win by 2, or the first one to get to 8 in OT will take this one away. And as, of course, we get ready for the start of the first match, let's remind our friends on Twitch chat to support your team, celebrate the successes, and be respectful to the other fans, or mods will remove anyone who violates the rules for the chat. So don't do it. I won't be in chat, of course, so I won't be watching you, but I trust you, Twitch chat, which is a dangerous thing to say. You guys, we did say production provided us the maps. We have Coastline being the first one. What's your guys' take on the map as a whole?
It's an interesting one. There's depending on the site, the map plays so differently. So there's such a large presence on being on the outside of the map, and it can sometimes just be a hassle to get inside with the roamers just running around and actually dealing with them to even attack the site. Right.
And any wise words of advice, Cosmic, for these players as we head into this first map?
I think that's a good point. You got to watch those line of sights. Got to be careful with those early picks. People trying to get just into the building in general. I always think that Fuse might be a pick for this because you've got those small encapsulated areas in which that could be a possibility. So just kind of watching out for those things.
We see Thatcher and Jackal being taken away. Big surprises at all?
Jackal's fairly common in any game, but on this map specifically, he's just so good at rooting out roamers because he can cut them off from the rest of the site so they can't just retreat to safety once they get tracked.
Valkyrie being banned away as well. And the last defender ban. Have to see here. Okay, the Mira.
Interesting.
Not the craziest thing, just because that window is, dependent on placement, can be really powerful for information gathering. But we'll have to see what kind of interesting options these two teams. So we can clearly see Boise State's going to be on the attacker side first, with Central Michigan going to be on the defense. There goes the Mozzie and Jaeger with the alibi, or alibi, as we were kind of funnily alluding to, with the Kaid. Smoke, and then, oh, wait a minute. Don't you dare do this to me, Boise State. Yes! I do believe that's locked in. It's not pick 6 yet, but that is a sledge. It's the first round. I'm in. I'm invested.
There we are.
What do you do? Okay. Brandenburg switching over to, let's see here. Waiting for that pick 6 to come through on the other side, and the Buck will come through.
Interesting.
So looking at the lineups, you guys feel like you can pick apart what these two teams are trying to do?
For Boise State specifically, I believe I already see they're taking, obviously they need to have the hard breacher, and then they pick 6'd it out. So their idea is they're going to get them to be ready for a defense against them just blowing a big hole in one of the main reinforcements and then going in.
Right.
With the Buck swapped out, what they can do is they can start shooting underneath with his skeleton key and just kind of weed them out of here and make it really hard for them to feel safe in their own site.
For sure. I also think the Buck one is an interesting one, and it's not uncommon for Coastline specifically, but I feel like Buck generally is more of a situational operator, obviously, because you don't get that opportunity very, very often to shoot from underneath or even up top to kind of open those floors up, open those ceilings up, and get some good advantage there.
Looks like main entrance will be possibly what they're considering. Nice spread, though. Putting all those eggs in one basket. No action emerging just yet, but it is only a matter of time before bullets are sprayed and exchanged. Slow and steady's the race, though, and plenty of time in the bank to do so. We don't often see a lot of movement happen until maybe like the final 60 seconds, but see how whether or not Boise State wants to play conservatively or if they want to be on that aggressive front that they're known to do. Shots for some wall. A little bit of information gathered, but 12 gauge does not feel comfortable holding that alone. Retreat further in towards maybe one bomb site. Boise State really tipping their toes and dipping them in before they get comfortable with the water temperature just yet. Just under the 2-minute mark. Here comes the sledge.
Opening that door.
And that's the only hammer hit we'll see all game. Shots across the wall. Does not find any target for sustainable damage, but they did find a bomb site.
Got that Alibi just mocking him over there.
You always
Hello.
gotta wonder if it's the real one who just took its place right
Exactly.
Okay, Boise State will suffer the first casualty as 12 gauge will find one piece and will be Neon taken down. Still have some drones available though, so maybe trying to gather an opportunity to relocate, or 12 gauge is really trying to find someone on the straggling end to capitalize on. Did lose a fair amount of life there on Legends, but again, Brenneber losing most of their life as well. It's not really an even trade. Pasta will take a fair amount of damage as well. So the trades are going favorably minus that first casualty, but Milk will fall, and it's an even 4v4. Boise State has some information on some enemy placements. Brenneber will fall, Neon will also go down. It's 3 versus 4. Korn, Tex, as well as Retrospect full health, but compared to the 3 full health bars on the side of Central Michigan, it's almost even. It's all about whether or not these two teams can capitalize, and they do so. The bullets will spray across, and there goes 2 members just like that, like flies. 3-2. Retrospect and Tex. Tex taking a little bit of chip damage. Now Retrospect will be found, and there goes the diffuser as well. It's a 1v3 situation. Tex is guessing where they are. Knows that they're capitalizing, pushing forward. Shots across the board. They know they're behind the cover. He's waiting for the peek. Will his patience pay off, or is it just a bait? It is. Taking so much damage, he loses the 1v1. And the defenders will be successful. Central Michigan taking first blood in the round. Boop. So as we saw there, a little bit of capitalization from the side of Semish. They were able to say, okay, we got this pick here. We just have to hold these fronts. What, moving into the second round, do you think Boise State wants to do a little bit differently?
So I feel like the Central Michigan team had a lot of roamers, just very spread out, and they would just kind of put it down to gunfights and good rotations. But I think the biggest crutch for Boise State here was that there just wasn't enough team play to go and weed out those roamers. It was a lot of just going in, taking 1v1s. And they had some good trades, but in the end, it kind of just whittled them down.
Right.
I also think it came down to the anticipation of the enemy, knowing where they were going to enter and preparing for that, you know, putting up the necessary defenses, making sure that they have those rotation holes through those walls that they didn't reinforce, having those deployable covers up when they know that they're going to try to, you know, breach from those locations is definitely pretty vital.
Sticking with the sledge.
There's a Tachanka here, Baratel.
Yeah, the Tachanka. You always have to lose your ability to form, you know, accurate sentences when you're talking about Tachanka. It's Tachanka. We'll see if that does prove to be the case, though. As you mentioned, it's paramount for teams to be successful when it comes to these competitive and higher skill cap games, for your team to kind of move as a unit, because if you fall, you're trading 1-for-1. That's the optimal, you know, path. You gain information, you get that 1-for-1 trade, and then from that point forward, you can continue to sweep out. To keep going this kind of solo mentality, it's going to be easy for them to be picked off, but just a very easy something to adjust. Legends trying to find any sort of angle through the floor. Gotta be careful though, because those toes are now exposed to danger. I don't know about you guys, but getting your toe shot off is not the most enjoyable experience for anybody.
Yeah, I think the Glass is an interesting pick, as you were saying before, that, you know, as they're kind of gearing towards more 1v1 fights.
Oh, that laser gate's so strong. Just trying to get it mitigated a little bit. They know that Tex is in this room, I think, but the patience for the rest of these members, we can see now that they're playing a little bit more cohesively. They're all within at least the same, I don't know, 10, 15 feet of each other, either on a vertical level, and that will result in a free pick for them. Maybe not so free, as Korn is in blinking health territory. Wish he can throw the hammer through the wall. That would be the coolest move ever, but unfortunately not available. On the backside, though, Tex will be sniped out from Milk.
I think getting this pick for Sledge here would be critical.
Oh, he got sneezed at and he fell. A nice 3v4. Boise State now This is the perfect time for them not to thin out, but more as to congeal as a unit. You really double down on the fact that you have 3 members looking and kind of call out and try to hope that your reaction time's a little bit better, making these gun trades a nice exchange of bullets coming through, but not able to get the pick. Legends will get away with half their health missing. Nope, more chip damage coming through. Just under that, I guess, second health bar. So just about, what would you say, like 60 health? We'll just throw an arbitrary number out there. Looks like about 60 health remaining on Legends right now.
They've put so much to try and get this Aruni out of here and
What a cool hand.
bashing
Robo
down
hand.
entire doors or walls.
Can't imagine brushing your teeth very easy with that arm. You either squeeze all the toothpaste out of the tube, or you're just, can't control the toothbrush.
Not going to get a pea-sized amount for sure.
No, not at all. Retrospect still has some teammates to back him up, but they're desperately running out of time. We see at the top, the 10-second mark is quickly approaching. They need to swing themselves into action. And there goes some picks, 3v3. Continue to push forward, and there goes a 3v2. They're going to hold this with an iron vice grip, but it's an exchange of blows back and forth, and now it's just going to be Brennerbear versus the world. He does not get the pick. He will actually fall. And it just seemed like Boise State had the right plan of action. They were able to go trade for trade there, but the panic that induced once the timer hit that near zero mark caused them to go into a flurry of bad decisions, and it didn't end up working out well for them. Central Michigan now 2 up, and there's Dajanka. Ooh, the Flores coming out.
Interesting.
I like that, and we've switched over the sledge user. Korn says, I'm tired of this guy, but Tech says, how can you be tired of the best operator in the game? Come on, man. Mute's going to be, I think, an adaptation for really good use, I think, when it comes to that. And I think could definitely call out the pick 6 into the ace.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting one, to say the least. Luckily, you can't mute the sledgehammer. There's literally no counter except the guns that literally everyone has.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how their composition has changed a little bit as they've, have gone through these first 2 rounds and kind of are understanding what the play style is and how Central Michigan is approaching this on the defense. This being the 6th time that Boise State and Central Michigan are going against each other. The first, 5 matches or 5 times that they've gone against each other. Boise State has won 3 of those, so we can definitely see some of that energy coming from Central Michigan to want to even that out, make it 3-3 for sure.
And with this being also a new roster for the Boise State team, they have a lot to prove. They have some veterans, if you will, from previous semesters, but some newcomers to the team, and it's whether or not you can gel with those new teammates that really show that you're a fully adaptable team, which, knowing the game, the mechanics, the gunplay, having favorite characters, and knowing how to play them well are all great factors to a good team. But I think the most important thing is your ability to adapt.
Absolutely. I think, going back to the ban phase, seeing what kind of benefits it brings to the composition here, we're seeing a lot of tech-based, you have the Jaeger, you have the Kaid or Cade, and, the Alibi mute even that could have easily been countered by Thatcher that has prevented that kind of play. And even the Valk pick, just preventing that, information gain and what kind of information they can get from that. So
they did switch. They switched Korn, who's now watching Tech currently. So far, Tech still being alive means the sledge is still able to maybe knock down some of these walls. Nice prediction and premonition, and that will pay off big time, even it up 4-4. I mean, when it comes down to it, you're sprinting down the hallway with all this gear on. You're heard from a mile away, but Texas got his headphones on the right way so far, so that's a good sign. Nice peek, but the shoulder jiggle will be there. Does he not? He doesn't. He doesn't find any hits or hit markers on that, but in the meantime, bot time for his team to find the other bomb site. Retrospect finding some damage into his health bar. Legends will trade over as well. It'll be a double kill for Gore-Tech, though. The shoulder jiggle, but the shots across, and that's exactly what we're talking about. 2 teammates looking the same angle, covering each other's back, and that will give another man lead over to Central Michigan. It's 2 versus 3. Health bars in no one's favor just yet, but the snipe and the full damage coming through, and unfortunately Tex will take a nap. Neon holding on for dear life. Shots across the board. Gortek will be shut down from the triple kill opportunity. And now it's a 1v2. 40 seconds on the board. This is a perfect time amount for something magical to happen. The sprinting alarm said, oh, but they are not able to find it. And there goes some shots across the way. And looks like Possible actually pick one up for their team. And Central Michigan now 3-0 on the map.
Yeah, those alibis have been paying off big time. Just
panic-inducing. Multiple us, woo! That's exactly what happens with Alibi, right? You just make multiple U's. Production's on point.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like almost anticipated there that, he was kind of hiding behind his alibis as he was trying to get a good line of sight through that hallway, which definitely confused the Ash as she came in, because, she initially shot at that and then started getting shot from that direction, so didn't really understand, where they might have been.
And even the Kaid isn't, look like Alibi there.
It's going to be a meme, Twitch chat. I'm sorry. It's now Kaid. It's truthfully what it is. So I think we saw Nomad and Lion being swapped in for Boise State. What does that signal to you guys?
I think this means they're really tired of these roamers.
Yeah, they just want to win out. What I find interesting, Boise State likes to push and try to challenge like these 1v1s, 1v2s on these long angles. I don't know. I feel like there's one operator that's really good at distracting your opponents while you're trying to push onto them.
Does he happen to have a hammer, or?
I don't know. Might have a hammer.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Doc's keys of the game, which I don't know if we went over them, but I mean, with everything, it's not taking a fair fight. They're going into all these scenarios, just kind of anticipating that they can get, some good picks off, like you were saying, in these longer hallways, which isn't always the case, and it's not really working out for them. So I think they're trying to adjust for that a little bit. Can't really tell if they're sticking together much more than they have been previously, but they're definitely trying. It looks like they're intel gaining a bit more than they did last time. They're trying to make sure that they can get as much as they can, kind of get the general area of where people might be.
It's creeping around this drone, inch by inch. Really covering the angle for them not to. It's pretty much the eyes on the wall, but they're just on the floor. Trying to find anything they can use and not really gaining much. Yes, you can signal that things are clear, but in a game like Rainbow Six Siege, things don't often stay clear for long. It looks like they're making a combined assault here on the second floor. And then we have
that is big.
Retrospect coming on the ground floor, I believe.
With Mozzie down now, those drones won't be able to drive around.
Right.
Exactly.
Premonition. Game sense is there, but no one's going to peek this stairwell for Corn, unfortunately. If Flores, I mean, we're not seeing any of those explosive drones come out. And, I mean, you use that pretty much on cooldown, right?
Yeah, essentially. I think you kind of want to use those sparingly as he goes down. Want to use those sparingly because, once they're gone, you just become, just another operator. Like, all of his utility is gone.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, wow, the pixel.
Pick through the window.
Yeah, that's the magic pixel right there. Those are kinds of shots you're like, okay, but how did you see me, though? Nice. And then that time as well, Possible will be dangerously low. Put him through a strainer. He's almost out of sauce here.
Just need a strong breeze.
Just, he's not Al Dente, but that is going to be a nice done noodle as Legends will fall. Boise State showing signs of life, and it's on the back of this more, I guess, information gathering playstyle, as you mentioned, Cosmic. They're going to be found out. Gortek kind of roaming around, proving to bite them in the butt just a little bit, lose a little bit of wind in their sails, but a 1v3 is a very comfortable position for Boise State. Not impossible for Central Michigan to go up 4-0, but it is a very tall order. And that's how you start it, but you do miss the shots. Retrospect will find it. It would be Boise State getting one back in their favor. No clones there to distract me, mister, so I get to shoot you no matter what. So you have to pick the same comp. Really felt like they dealt with the roaming both well in terms of the operators that they picked, but as well as in play style. They were able to really use those drones to such a great effect that removed the surprise, the element of surprise from these roams. So I think that's a good choice, keeping it the same. I want to see the explosive drone, though, from Flores before he falls.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a
Pop
big
the corn, popcorn. Rooney, 6 picked out. Oh!
Interesting.
Time.
They had to retire him at one point.
Such as to hang up the hammer for now, but I will be okay with the Iona coming through.
Yeah, I think in that last round, one of the greatest benefits that was called out was the Mozzie pick relatively early on, because that's what allowed them to continue with that, with the droning out and the intel gaining.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Multiplus. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with the Iona. We were talking about them being a more intel-heavy team in their strategy, and I think they're going along with that now.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Scoping out still. Of course, they can't physically move just yet, but that's okay.
setting up some good drones for sure.
Yeah. It's always so interesting to see what kind of cheeky things you can get away with your drones, like where you can jump them up into be part of a toolbox or part of the bed frame or some stuff like that.
And then it's always saying you've been spotted. And
Right.
you cannot
Yeah, exactly.
figure
Like,
out for
but
the
how?
life.
Never gonna figure out
Where are they? You just light up the whole bedroom.
You're bound to get it eventually.
Down feathers everywhere, you know, just a massacre.
Well, I mean, with those being set up, they're essentially putting up their own, security cameras that they can
True.
check rotations and things like that.
Yeah, it's a very intuitive way to think about it. 12 gauge. Sadly, I don't think they're using a shotgun. I feel like that's a bit misleading.
Would have been poetic for sure.
To be fair, though, Milk or Pasta not really remaining true to their name either, because there's no chef-based character in the game as far as I know.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Yeah,
yet.
that's
exactly.
That's the. I heard
The
that's the next
operator
update.
cooks a meal for you and it heals you a little bit. It'll be the next healer. There's some, not to sidetrack too much, but there's some great dishes you can make with just pasta and milk.
Pasta and milk.
A little bit of seasoning, nice creamy sauce.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Nice trade. Pasta holding with the Iron Vice group will be finally taken down. Retrospect knowing someone's down the hallway, and a nice two-piece. Boise State leading in stride. And the health bar is not too crazy. Retrospect losing about half, but you take a 2-kill lead for that half HP bar, I think that's worth it every time.
Yeah, that Iona is already paying off.
Oh! Tex is going to be taken down.
Just
Toasted.
As you say that.
Yep.
Knock on wood. Yeah, I've noticed that we're seeing a little bit more of sticking together. They're watching those longer angles as their teammates move forward. Watching those doorways, making sure that they're not going to make the same mistake that they did, a couple rounds ago. With
Oh, it's about to go down. He finds him in the corner, but cannot get the shots down. Wait, he does.
Got him.
He will be down. Brenner Bear holding on to dear life, waiting for the teammates. Hey, team, I'm over here. Help me, please. They're too busy getting other kills going down. Finds the bomb site. Oh my gosh, 12 gauge finding a nice angle here, and I think it was unseen, unscouted.
No more lion charges either. They
Brenner
can't
Bear is
train
going to be
really
possibly just the sacrificial health bar to give information over to Korn to pick apart the final remnants of 12 gauge, but if I'm not mistaken, the fuser's going down, and only a matter of time before things get really sticky here for the side of Central Michigan. Explosions down. Open
Finally
up the
saw-
sight line. Think they know he's there.
Attackers recovered.
There goes the diffuser. Haven't done it just yet. 10 seconds remain.
10 seconds remaining.
12 gauge needs to put the pressure to stop anything from happening, but the prone will go down. The shots will go down. It's a triple kill for 12 gauge. And the defender's was not able to get the diffuser down. 12 gauge bought enough time and exerted enough pressure that somehow Central Michigan was able to get that one locked up.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
I'm impressed to see the attachments that he had. Like there was zero recoil as he was hip firing down there, but yeah, he was just keeping the pressure on him for sure. I saw the Flores finally come out. That was the explosion near the end there. Couldn't quite get it close enough, but he just kept that pressure on him on that diffuser room, so they couldn't quite grab the diffuser for sure.
Not mistaken, a quad piece here for 12 gauge as well. But to be fair, doesn't count because they didn't use a shotgun. So sorry, bud. 12 gauge going over to the mute. 6 picked over. Still sticking with the Iana.
I think they're anticipating the Iana because that was 6 picked as well.
Right. Well, shoot. It's like a chess match at this point, right?
Locate and defuse bombs.
Boise State has 1 round under the belt, but Central Michigan showing that they're very comfortable on defense. Could still be just the story of the map. We see in other competitive shooters that some maps are a little bit sided towards one, either attacking or defending. It's very well possible this could be the case here, but we will have to see. Look, really busting open a second staircase entrance there. The first one wasn't good enough for them, I guess.
Making his own doorways here.
That's how you do it in R6. If only you could just collapse the whole building, you know? Really open up the whole map. Oh, there's no walls to hide behind because all of the supporting walls have been removed.
Just battle on a pile of rubble.
It's like the Final Destination from Smash, but in R6. You know, you just shoot. Oh, moonwalking? Okay, don't know what that was about. I didn't know. Is that one of their moves?
It's a new feature, yeah.
I was gonna say, I didn't know that their character got remade. What a cool move. You're able to just moonwalk and dodge bullets or something.
Yeah, they added emotes. You can
that's
finally
cool.
emote in the game.
That would be the worst thing to happen to this game, probably ever. This game has a pretty acceptable community, I'd say, though.
Yeah.
Compared to other games. And the 2-piece going out for Boise State, I think that they're not killed, but just have disconnected, which would definitely explain the moonwalking. I didn't see a dance partner there for that, though, unfortunately. But I think that's what is going on. Yeah, just a bit of a connection issue confirmed from production. Thank you, guys. So what do you guys think so far? I mean, Boise State's showing that they have some really, really important highlights to mention, but obviously some things that need some work in this particular matchup. But it could very well, again, just be the sense that defending versus attacking, one could be easier than the other.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing, so even though it is 1 to 5 for BSU, a lot of these rounds are really close.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was only one round where it was like a 1v3 at the end. Mm-hmm. Most of these have come down to like 2v1s or 1v1s just about. And so it's just, I think, a little bit more time management and just getting these situations where even if they are ahead, they're not like just stretched for time. And like we saw with the one round where they just weren't able to get the plant down.
You know, two rounds of their losses so far were due to the fact that the time had run out of the dial, forcing them to make some rash decisions. And you know, you start the round with this very informed mentality. You play through the middle of the round with that same mentality, but then soaking up so much time with either inactivity or maybe not having a cohesive plan, you expend the rest of the time that you gathered by being proactive. It's kind of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely seems like Central Michigan knows the map very well and knows those specific those points where they can breach walls and be able to have line of sight straight through without being seen very well. Obviously we saw Tachanka open his own doors up, and they obviously have like a good rotation down. As we've seen, like you were saying before, with their ability to, that they're very close rounds. I mean, we're coming down to 2v1s, 1v1s even. And I think it's just, going back to those, to Doc's keys of the game and never taking a fair fight, that they're going into situations where they have the opportunity to lose or the chance to lose, which is they're not making that bet very well.
Why speculate when they're provided to us? Of course, Doc's keys of the game and R6 Siege are tried and true. Know your callouts, start fast on easy prey, disorient with tacticals, and again, never take a fair fight. Of course, the Doc's keys of the game are brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. And whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran like myself, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. And yeah, I mean, never take a fair fight. Getting the 2v1 on these long hallways, getting these peaks is a huge thing to highlight, because we've seen so far them swing themselves into a position of success before that pendulum swings back and they lose momentum. So we'll just have to see whether or not they can do it. And as much as I like the sledge, I think it's not something that's providing too much utility for them. They do have some other options with hard breaching. They could even go for a little bit more of a softer breach approach with more gathered information being the decisive factor there. But we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. One big thing with Coastline is there's just not a lot of locations for sledge. Like he can punch holes downward, but he can't punch holes upward unless someone gives him some stilts or something.
Got to be the most infuriating thing ever, by the way. Like physically being able to punch down, but just not being able to punch upwards. Feels like something that a man with a giant hammer should be able to do. But then again, I didn't design the game. Looks like we're going to do some replays here from Boise State, able to take one away. And if we can see that 4-piece there on the side for Central Michigan, that would also be impressive. And it's up to really Boise State, because despite the score not being in their favor, I feel like they are in the driver's seat in most of these rounds, and it's either their decisions that get them in a position to win, or their lack of good decision making, or just lack of decisions in general that are putting them in the L for that round. Mm-hmm. Would you guys agree? You can disagree with me. It's okay.
I disagree. No, I think it'll be. I definitely think it'll be interesting to see, when the tide turns and they're able to switch roles. Mm-hmm. The Boise State able to show off kind of what they've practiced and what they know as far as the map and getting those areas down and those rotations down for sure. I think it's just come down to the simple fact of taking fights that you have the opportunity to lose. And there's been a couple of picks that haven't really had a lot of utility, not a lot of team-based picks that we've seen. I mean, Flores, we've seen a number of times, but I think I have yet to see like a good, solid like play through that and how he's able to use that team-based. So the Iana, I think, was a safe bet, for intel gathering, making sure that where they're entering is not currently being rotated. But they definitely have it down to a T. I'm excited to see what Boise State can do on defense. Yeah,
absolutely. Big question mark. Where's the Dokkaebi? How would that fit? How would that not work?
I mean, with a lot of the intel gathering they have right now, like a Dokkaebi would have been pretty good in place of Flores.
I totally agree. I think part of the reason it might be due to the Valk ban that happened near the beginning, because Dokkaebi obviously has a lot of utility, especially when those cameras have been put up in places that they aren't normally. You can get a lot of utility out of the Dokkaebi with the Valk cams for sure.
I agree. Also, probably the cutest. If there's ever something to be attributed to an emote, it's Dokkaebi's abilities in general, right? Just oh, look, it's a little kawaii little. Oh, wait, my phone. It's going off. And I mean, we see Boise State putting themselves in positions of panic by the timer running out. Dokkaebi, in and of herself, almost creates those at a moment's notice. Like your cell phone's going off in the movie theater. How much anxiety do you then compress into your body? And that's just the movie theater, let alone when someone's going around with, an M6 coming around the corner looking for you, So it's possible. Not going to see it. It doesn't look like this round, but able to get this nice and set up. Here comes the barricades.
Still
barricade skins. Why are there not barricade skins in this game? Opportunity.
You're about to get a call from Ubisoft about that.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting a phone call.
Is
Hello?
it Dokkaebi?
It's literally Dokkaebi. Hello. That wasn't supposed to happen.
The spam calls, exactly.
Let me turn my phone off. It looks like we don't really know just yet. Boise State kind of spawning at the same location. Haven't really determined whether or not they want to stick together. It doesn't look like the full cohesion's the motif for this round for them. But they don't have a lot of rounds to play around with on attack anymore moving forward. They're Getting dangerously close to switching back over to defense. We'll have to see what happens when that swap does occur. Oh my goodness. And I mean, speak of cohesion, we see some clone in the room in front, which would only distract for a moment. And then 2 members here from Central Michigan in tandem, ready to spring at a moment's notice, and that's just what's going to happen on the other side of the map. It's going to be 12 gauge, no 4-piece for them this time, as Corn will take it out. They will find the diffuser. They find at least one site, I believe, so far. Grenade launching. Very cool. Chachonka, everyone. Oh my
Oh, wow.
goodness